Hey everybody, my name is Tyler Anderson. I'm an automation and reliability consultant with Adams, and today I want to introduce some unique technology to you guys referred to as single point automatic lubrication systems that you see for bearings in common industrial applications. First thing we're going to do is dive into the technology and how it works and some of the benefits, and then we're going to go over some of the common applications that we see in the field, some of the successes. So let's get into it. On the table here, I have several different components from our demo case that I want to walk through. The first things you see over here are different brackets and fastening methods where you can remote mount this technology versus having to mount directly on the unit itself. This here is a beam clamp. This here is a way to mount to different posts and poles remotely. This here is some hosing. You can remote mount up to 10 feet away and get enough pressure to extend into your bearings. This one here is a flange to support the cartridge. This here is a different bracket where you can actually mount multiple units to run to two separate bearings. This one here is the mechanical drive unit itself. We'll be talking about how this works a little bit in a second. It's a mechanical drive unit, battery operated, and this is the grease cartridge where your grease comes pre-filled inside of here. And then this last thing here is if you have this in harsh environments outside in an area where you're doing wash down and spray down of your equipment, this just protects it, goes right over top of the unit and completely seals it for you. So now we'll dive into how the internals of this system works. And as you can see here, this is kind of a cutaway of the mechanical drive unit and the grease cartridge. On this portion here, you can see where the battery pack is inserted. The drive unit itself, on top, you have an LED display. And then this bottom portion is where the lubricant is. So what makes this a little bit unique is every so often, every few hours, depending on the grease and the bearing that's being utilized, this is going to disperse a certain amount of grease to keep you right inside your desired window. So this is just going to continually go down and press down over your desired period, whether that be 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or even 12 months. And then you just put it in your PM schedule to change accordingly. This right here, I just want to show the ease of use. This shows you how simple it is to get started. You have your drive unit on the left. You insert your battery pack, screw that battery pack on, set the size of the cartridge. It comes in 3 cartridge sizes, 60 cc unit, 120 cc unit, 250 cc unit. So you set that, and then the next thing you do is set the amount of months that you want it to dispense for. So 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, up to 12 months. And then you set it and forget it. All right, now we want to talk about some of the benefits of a system like this. So the first and major benefit is bearing life extension. So there's several benefits of going to a unit like this is you prevent the operators having to get inside of that bearing every single time and opening it up to contamination. Up to 75% of premature bearing failures can be prevented due to solid contamination, unsuitable lubricants, aged lubricants, and insufficient lubrication quality. So one thing that this does, it prevents over-lubrication and under-lubrication. Typically, when you're going around your PM schedule, you're greasing different bearings, you're putting a lot of grease in, over-lubricating that bearing, and then coming back maybe 2 weeks later or a month later, and at that point you have insufficient lubrication. Both over-lubricating and under-lubricating are both damaging to the bearing. It causes friction, it causes heat. So what this does is it completely prevents that. Another major benefit for this technology is making sure the right lubricant goes into the correct bearing. Depending on the number of bearings that you have throughout the facility, you could have several different lubricants for those bearings. And sometimes an operator may grab a certain lubricant and put it in the wrong bearing, which can cause failures. What this technology does is you receive this grease cartridge every time that you're due for a refill. Comes pre-filled with the type of lubricant that you want, completely sealed, making sure there's no air gaps in here, and it's the desired lubricant, so you're always getting the correct one. All right, now the next benefit we want to talk about is remote mounting. A lot of these different areas you have to manually go grease, and some aren't very accessible. They could be in dangerous operations. They could be up high where you have to have scaffolding to get them. One thing that this technology allows you to do is remote mounting with different brackets up to 10 feet away. So what that is uniquely able to do is you have an operator, instead of going in and seeing the actual application and having to do it manually, they can see the LED on the top of here, which blinks green every 8 seconds to show you that it's operating as it should. That way you don't have any safety issues or additional expenses involved when getting to that specific bearing. Another issue is if it's hard to reach, sometimes that bearing may get skipped, which could cause premature failures as well. And then the final benefit we want to talk about is labor savings. You typically have somebody or a group of people that are going around on a PM schedule greasing these bearings. Typically, you can have other applications that are a lot higher value to where those people can be doing that. Where this allows you to do is put the technology onto the bearing and then come and check it periodically and see that it's operating as it should with the green LED. And then you change it out based on your desired time frame on your PM schedule every 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever you decide is best. And when talking about the labor savings, one common question that typically comes up is, well, we like our operators to still go around and listen to the bearing and feel the bearing, make sure it's operating properly. In those specific cases, we suggest that they continue to do that. One savings that's involved is it doesn't take nearly as long to go listen to a bearing as it does to grease a bearing. And another thing that they'll get from that, another benefit, is knowing that this is always giving the exact amount of grease that's needed, so that bearing should perform better over time. Now I want to jump into some of the applications that we commonly see in the field and some successes that we've been involved with. This first one here is a unique application. It's a fan motor driving a pulley. And you have the electric motor down here, which is direct mounted onto these units. And then you have the pillow bearing that is controlling the fan being lubricated as well. These next applications show you how these can be remote mounted. So you have your bearing entries up top. These are remote mounted down here for easy access. And the operator can visually see every drive unit and how it's operating from a distance. Here's another example of a hard to reach bearing. Very difficult to get up there and lubricate that point, so we were able to bring this down and remote mount it so the operator can simply change out that cartridge in the desired PM time and make it simple. And then here are two more applications where we have it remote mounted. The one on the right is a conveyor bearing. These are very common applications, harsh environments, hard to reach, dusty and dirty. People don't typically like to go grease these. This makes it simple for the operators, and they actually enjoy it as well. And that wraps up our video on single point automatic lubrication systems. We talk about the technology and how it works, some of the benefits, and some of the main applications we see in the field. If you have any questions or want to have one of our specialists come on site to take a look at your application, please feel free to contact us at 813-626-4128 or visit us online at www.adamscorp.com. Until next time, thanks and make it a great day.